Stratton from Wood Turns. Last spring, a limb from a maple tree fell on my friend's house. He gave me the limb, and I rough-turned this natural edge maple bowl at that time. I put it away to dry, thinking I'll finish it later when it is dry. Well, later is now. It is warped, it is dry, it's lost over 30% of its weight. Let's finish this natural edge maple bowl.
I would normally have sawn the limb in half through the pith. Judging by where the pith was, there wasn't enough wood on the other side of the pith to do another turning. Between my broken bandsaw and this wet maple being fairly soft, I decided to just tool off the excess on the lathe. So I mounted the entire section of wood on screw chuck. On rough turnings such as this one, I always want to bring up the tailstock to stabilize the workpiece. I don't want it flying off the lathe and hitting someone or something or me. I'm using my large bowl gouge here. A little way into the turning, the spigot at the tailstock disintegrated and the bowl started to wobble on the screw chuck. At this point, it was only bark and sapwood, so I stopped the lathe and chiseled off the spigot so that I could run the tailstock into more solid wood. After wasting away the almost half of the limb and forming a rough shape of the bowl, I cut a dovetail tenon on the side that will become the bottom. For this bowl, this is the middle of the branch. Then I chiseled off the spigot that would be in the way of mounting the bowl in the scroll chuck. Then flipped it over and mounted in the scroll chuck using that tenon. I'll keep the tailstock in place now on the opposite side of the bowl until the rough outside is completed. When I can do more on the exterior, I removed the tailstock and started hollowing the interior. The challenge on a natural edge bowl is cutting the wood between where the wood is solid and the bark. It's difficult to ride the bevel when half the time you're cutting air. It's also very easy to break away the bark, so easy does it. I took special care on the interior when starting a cut to have the gouge in a neutral position and with the bevel perpendicular to the bowl. As the bowl interior deepened, I became uncomfortable with the bowl gouge and switched to a heavy bowl scraper to smooth the very bottom of the bowl. With the bowl roughed out, I weighed it, waxed it, and put it in a brown paper bag and put it away to dry. 10 months later, it has lost over 30% of its original weight and is dry. With this wall thickness, it probably did not need 10 months. Now I'm using a wood faceplate from a previous project as a jam chuck. I remounted the bowl. Since I had chiseled off the spigot with a center marking, I had to find a new center, but it did not take very long to get a good center. After all, it has warped anyway. Nothing is where it was. Then the first task is to refine the old dovetail tenon. Here I used a parting tool and a skew. I did not want to remove very much wood. I'm already near the minimum size for my chuck. With the bowl again secure in the chuck, it's time to refine the exterior of the bowl. Easy does it, as I don't want to hit the chuck jaws with my gouge. For the bowl interior, I used a round carbide cutter. The wood is now harder than it was when green. It's even easier to have a catch that would destroy the bowl. As the bowl walls get thin, vibration from even light cuts makes for unwanted chattering. Ideally, the upper portion should already be finished to avoid the situation, but I'm not quite there yet. Then I sanded the bowl up through all the grits and finished it with walnut oil, but that leaves the mounting tenon. I turned the bowl back around onto a jam chuck. There's no regular lip to this bowl, so the jam chuck must be all inside the bowl. I used the tailstock to keep things together. After sanding the base, I again tooled the spigot down to nothing. I held the bowl with one hand on the gem chuck while I sanded the spigot area, then off to sand the base and apply a little more oil. Now I have another maple natural edge bowl. This one is perfectly round as I've tooled off all the warped wood. I had made another natural edge bowl from the same branch a year ago in woodturning. It's interesting to compare the two bowls to see the impact of the two turning techniques and the warping. I'll put a link to that video of a year ago. So here's my small maple bowl with its natural edge. The bark has not broken off this one. Please like this video and add your comments or questions. Please join me again for the next video. Meanwhile, be safe and have fun.